there is a requirement to take off the back of this electric motor. It'll have a fan on it, and then there'll be a bit of shaft sticking out to run that fan, but all that's got to go. So in the guide notes, such as they are, that fan cover needs to come off, the fan inside it needs to come off, and then they talk about sawing off the shaft just to line up with the end plate. I'm not going to saw it off, I'm going to take the whole motor apart and face it off in the lathe, make it nice and neat and tidy. So before I took this out, this was blued and marked with the scribe. I need to get it parted off, little chamfer put on just down to that scribe there. That'll allow the seal to go over it, and it'll be nicely finished off end to the part. So this has got to go in the lathe, parting off. I'll probably actually turn it over, put that into steady rest, and then face it off, chamfer it that way. Lathe. The setup here, this is a live chuck, so there's bearings in this chuck up here to allow it to spin. There's a threaded hole in the end of this shaft, so you can't use the centre, and I want this shaft to be grabbed hold of instead of falling off anyway. So I'm using the carbide tool because it's just got a longer reach. I'm going to part it off just shy of that scribe line to give me something to face off in the end. I'm just going to feed it in by hand. Hopefully it will get close to parting off, but it's a very dodgy setup this. That's just going to dribble on there. That's gravity fed, by the way, so you don't have to turn the compressed air on to get that dripping in. And we'll see how it goes. Risky. And that's it. I'm not going to worry about the nub on the end of it. That can stay on there. Turn it around, get it in the chuck, steady rest on here probably, and tidy up that end. Probably the easiest steady rest setup I've ever done. Face it off, put a chamfer on it. Let's have it running backwards, shall we? Just clean that up with a bit of Scotch-Brite. There's a rubber seal that needs to go over that chamfer, so don't want any sharpness involved in that. Lovely. Okay, so that's all going to get painted when the whole thing is painted at the end anyway, but we're missing the fan off the end now, so it's a much shorter, more compact motor. Somewhat tidy looking. Want this to be flat. I don't normally get this out, it's just too heavy to keep moving around, so this little marble chopping board is normally flat enough for most stuff. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get in any better than that. It is rocking, but it just doesn't get better. Thinking about how to hold this, I'm going to do it the same way as the vice bolster was done. These are called out to be drilled all the way through and screwed down with countersunk screws, but I'm going to sink a hole in here but not break through. Probably that's about, I don't know, 20 millimeters, and then I'll tap that M6. Once it's tapped M6, I will bolt some bars down to the bottom of this base plate and then turn it upside down. I can clamp the bar down to the table. That would leave the whole top surface exposed. And also leave me with some threaded holes for putting feet in the future, instead of drilling all the way through. This is what I've come up with. Threaded holes in the base plate. Pieces of flat bar then bolted to the bottom of the base plate and then clamped down on that flat bar at each end. It's ringing like a bell, but it's what I've come up with to support the part, clamp it down, but then be able to take a cut right off the top. So I'm going to begin with a like a dust off cut at the top there, see how I get on with that. I'm hoping to cut this off in 3 passes. Let's see how we get on. Going to be slow. So that wasn't something I was looking forward to or really enjoyed doing. It takes so long. You're at risk of making the thing so thin and useless at the end of it, but it is what it is. Not been done to dimension, but it is kind of flat, doesn't look too bad. It'll do. This doesn't cut on the back cut, so there's no point going right off the end. £25mm, what it's supposed to be. These holes are going to be threaded. It asks for clearance holes of 6mm, expecting long screws with nuts on to go through, but I'm going to thread the holes, be able to put cap screws in from the top, cap screws in from the bottom as well, so that you can assemble one piece at a time. I like it like that. Four lovely threaded holes. I know that I'm supposed to countersink these first before they're tapped, but too much fuss doing that in the mill. Do it by hand afterwards.